Okay, so welcome to Blue Girls Dream Journal. I'm going to be covering December 2024. I don't know how far I'll get. Probably a couple months. I may be able to get through March. So, dragging. I was in a different city. I had bags of my stuff and possibly a suitcase. I left a pile of my stuff on the sidewalk as I took a suitcase to a storage place. I do not know why I'm not taking a taxi, but there was no snow. I might be at the Union Station in Chicago, not sure, but I did not have any plans. Like I showed up without buying a return ticket. Okay, so what was weird is I had my stuff, but the way I was carrying it was like, like in the 1990s, obviously I came off of Greyhound, because I had all this stuff, and I don't know why I just didn't take a taxi. That was kind of weird. But anyway, it was Chicago, and I don't know where I was going. But I do remember, and this is somewhat happening now, that I witnessed a crime victim, or crime witness or whatever. And so I think an African-American man was helping me over there. So I don't know where I was going or if I arrived or what, but I just remember that. Yeah, and I showed up without buying a return ticket. So it's kind of weird because, I used to do that in the 90s. But I wouldn't do that really now. I would have it more planned out. Native American is the next dream. A young woman with blonde hair, plump, is around this Native American guy that may or may not have a history. The woman gave him a hug, but the Native American guy wanted more. Oh, okay. So, I don't know. I think I have an idea who the Native American guy is. But that might be, I don't know. But anyway, the guy wanted more. It was more money. So, Centipede. My upper body, like near arms, a small hole opened up and a centipede crawled inside. This was weird because this was like for a surgery. Yeah, and there was it was really weird because there was a hole somewhere on my body, kind of like the belly button, but I don't think it was. It might have been the belly button, I'm not sure. But I saw this, it opened up, and then there was this worm or bug, like a centipede crawled in there. It was vivid, but it was kind of creepy. Return. The dream starts out with me near a body of water. A woman or my mom died, already deceased. They couldn't find the body. I was walking around with some guy. Then it was at a college campus sitting outside when I saw a fellow YouTuber who has been living in a different country. She was nearby and smiling. I'm sure it was her. The college campus looks like a former college. There were two foreign male students who were trying to attack me by bombing an area close to me. I saw the explosion but was not hit. I was targeted for some reason, not for sure why. Former city in the West. I know a lot. Okay, so I don't know what this was about. This is kind of weird. A woman or my mom, they were looking. They couldn't find the body, which was kind of weird. Now I've only had one dream about a deceased body. Okay, there was a woman floating in, and this took place in the Midwest. And there was a woman floating head face down, and she had dark hair. And there was a guy who was from northeast. Well, he wasn't northeast, but this took place in the Midwest. But there's an area northeast. Anyway, so I don't know what. That's what I saw in the dream, and I think that from what I remember, that's the only dream that I've had like that. But I don't know what my mom. It could just be a death or whatever. Yeah, and I remember the guy. I don't know. He was a little tall, and I vaguely remember the guy, and I don't know why I was with him. But we were just kind of walking around. So I remember this. I was sitting, I know exactly where I was sitting at the college. It was a university that I went to a long time ago. And I was sitting there, and there was this YouTuber who was like there. And I thought, well, that was kind of weird, you know. She was like smiling at me, and so she's younger, and it's like, but anyway, so like I found out in real life that we're having some similar issues with finances. But anyway, so yeah, and so I don't know, and she was smiling at me, which is kind of weird because I'm older, so I don't know why she would be smiling at me. But anyway, it wasn't a former college. It looks like a former college. It was a former college. So I don't know. These foreign male students were kind of. It was almost like a practical joke. It wasn't like a literally. Well, it was symbolic of bombing. It was like an attack. I would just remember it was close to me, but I didn't get hit. And I don't know why they were doing that to me, but I was targeted for some reason. Apartment. I had several bags and went to my new apartment. However, when I arrived, there was some young woman already living there. Maybe I was temporarily staying at his place. Okay, so there's been a couple dreams in which I was told, oh, I got an apartment, right? And then I go there and somebody else is living there. So that weird. I had like 2 or 3 dreams like that. And so I got in there and there's some guy who's already living there. So that was a little weird. Gorilla. There was a house out in the middle of nowhere. A gorilla was hanging out near the house. I was cleaning out a storage locker. Okay, so I don't know who this guy was, but I had a really cool dream of a gorilla many years ago. I think it was a cool dream of a gorilla. That's what I called it. But anyway, but I remember, and it was like from a distance that I saw him. And it kind of reminded me of, you know, those people who, well, not those people, but it was almost like a costume. It didn't seem like a real gorilla. It was like a costume that he was wearing. Okay, so I feel peace. I woke feeling peace. I was in a desert environment, although not an area that I had been to before. I was waiting to take a train. It seemed to be a short distance. I don't even know where I was going. I see 2 overweight white women sitting at a table. I then see a picture of one of my cousin's granddaughters. In real life, I thought of an old woman who was always kind to me, and then I cried. So basically I feel peace. When I woke from this dream, I felt peace. I was in a desert environment, and I was like, in the dream, I was sitting at a table. It was actually here, not in this apartment, but in this, like the office here. And there was 2 overweight white women, and they were helping me. And I was supposed to go to the Southwest. And, you know, I thought it was a train, like in a choo-choo train, but I think it was a job. But anyway, but it seemed like it was a short distance. But anyway, when I woke up, I felt peace. Now, this is the same kind of, and this is the same kind of, I have an about, and I'll just say this briefly because this is where it all started. When I was like a teenager, I would have several deja vus. Okay, I would have that. And I didn't really have a whole heck of a lot of dreams that I can recall. So when I was, you know, I don't even think I have a video of this, and I should have just make a video of it. It's when I was a teenager, and this happened in real life. When I was a teenager, I was at one of my relatives' house, okay, And I watched 2 scary movies. I was one of those kids who would not watch scary movies. I'd be like this, you know. And so I never watched scary movies as a kid. And so I watched 2 of them in a week. And it was Fatal Vision with Gary Cole or Coleman or something. And that was, you know, I don't really want to go into it, but it was a scary movie. And then there was a little bit. It was about an alleged, his family was murdered. And, you know, it was so long ago, that I don't remember all the details. And then I saw, I don't know the name of it, but it was about a stalker. She was an actress, and this guy was stalking her. This is a movie now. And he harmed her. And this happened in real life. It's based on a true story. And she survived, okay? So shortly afterwards, I started having a dream of a man chasing me, and he had a knife, okay? And it was always an aerial view. And this is when and he was like chasing me, and he was just really right on my ass. And it was like a desert environment. It wasn't the current environment and where I was living. And, or it was desolate. But I think, you know, I just remember that it wasn't the same environment. And all I could see, he had dark, bushy hair. That's all I can see. And I never could see his face. And I looked it up one time, and it says that I don't know who it is. If you can't see someone's face, you don't know who it is. And so, but every time that I would wake up, I felt safe. Okay? I felt peace. The same thing that I felt when I woke up from this dream. It was that kind of peace. Okay? And so what ended up happening was, in real life, I had my big sister from Big Brother and Big Sister Association. She invited me to her house, okay, and to spend the night. And so on that night that I was gone, okay, at my big sister's house, a man broke into the house. And he entered through the bedroom window of where I slept, okay? And I wasn't there, but he didn't have a knife, he had a gun. Okay, and I'm not bullshitting you. This happened in real life. Alleged. I should sit there and say alleged, because I wasn't there. But anyway, no one was harmed. I don't know exactly everything that happened because I wasn't there. I was told. But, you know, nobody was harmed. And so that's the main thing, is nobody was harmed. I did not know this guy. I didn't know anything that was going on with the situation or anything like that. I mean, I was a teenager. So it was that kind of peace. Okay. And the reason why I think I felt that the peace in this dream here is because I was protected, you know, in the dream. And that's kind of, and God did protect me. If you believe in God, you do or you don't. But, you know, this is a true story here. So what is the next thing? 2 guys, January 4th. Okay, I was with 2 guys. One was my youngest brother, although it didn't look like him. We were going somewhere, not for sure where. There seemed to be certain cities that would go through. So yeah, it's kind of strange. Like, I've had dreams about, it's my youngest brother, but it doesn't really look like him. It looks like him a little bit, like he's got dark hair. And I think that's strange, because it doesn't physically look like him, but it's him. Carpeted apartment. They caused it. Asked to leave. Caught red-handed. Well, that's January 2020. Yes, they did cause it. Okay. A younger woman was showing me a carpeted apartment. similar color of current apartment. I cannot figure out the location of this apartment. I believe it to be in the Midwest. Okay, so I think this is northern, like the northern Midwest. So like when I have these dreams, most of the time, not all the time, I can figure out what part of the United States or even a different country, if I'm having part, of where it is, even though I've never been to the country, may or not. But anyway, so yeah, I can tell the location of the dream. Okay, long corridor. There is an area that has a long corridor on the side of it. I am at my place, which is kind of dumpy. A young homeless-looking guy is in the area, almost like we're communicating with each other. Okay, so I know exactly where this is at. This is in Washington State. The dream is. And there's like some corridor that's like they're doing construction, and I know exactly where this is at. It's probably like a couple blocks or so from where I used to live. And it was daylight, and I don't know why I had a dream of this. So a mountain. I was with about 4 younger people in something okay, however, it didn't look like the mountains in this dream. Not for sure what mountains in this dream. I did not know these people, however, none of them were ethnic looking. I don't see us camping or doing anything but visiting this area and walking around what saw and dream. So I know, I can't remember the name of the mountains. It's some place that I've never been to, but I know it's out east. And, I was with them, but I don't think in real life. I mean, it's someplace I've never been. I don't know why I was there. But anyway, so that's that. Pathological Liars. Okay. February now. It was nighttime, and I was walking around the city. I recognized the lights and think the city as LA. Several young white women were telling lies. They would start talking and then drift off in their speech. I was in a driver's seat of my brother's car, and my brother was in the passenger's seat. The car was upside down. Oh, I recall looking at my brother who was unconscious. Okay, that's where this is at. It was surreal. So the dreams returns to being in LA. It was snowing time, or was snow? It was now daytime. Okay. I was walking and stopped in to a bakery with a guy that may have knew. Scared them, terminate the way he acts towards her. Okay. Pathological Liars. Okay. So what I was doing, I was, this is, I say it's LA, but it didn't look, I couldn't see LA, like the skyscrapers in downtown. I couldn't see any of that, but for some reason I thought it was LA. Either way, it was California or close to LA. And I've only been to LA, I know it's been like maybe once. So what happened was the pathological liars are the people that are working at these different medical facilities. And so, and I would talk to them. They would start talking to me or telling me something, then they would kind of drift off in their speech. It was kind of weird. They all did that. Like, they were just kind of, hello, it was just weird. And so this was quite disturbing. This is February 6, 2025. Now, the brother that I have had this dream, because I was trying to find this, and he's 10 years older than me in real life, okay? So what happened was I was in the driver's seat, and I don't have a driver's license, so that was a little weird. And I think it might have been nighttime, I'm not sure. But it could have just been like someone driving him to his medical appointments, but it was really disturbing, and it was just disturbing. Because I looked over to my right, and my brother was sitting in the passenger seat, and he was unconscious. And then for some reason, I thought the car was upside down. And so this was quite, and I haven't told my brother about this, okay? This is the brother that had the son who passed away. So I don't know if he had a heart attack or a stroke or what was going on, but the car was kind of like bumping. I remember that. And that was the end of the dream. So I don't know, I've never had too many dreams like that. So anyway, so then so it goes back to LA, and I was with this guy, and we were, walking into this bakery. And I remember, one thing about, the women the people that were lying, they were all women. There was all women there. But then at this bakery, it was a guy, and there was another woman walking around. The sorority, I was at a sorority house out east, although not former state, thank God. A guy with long wavy hair came down the stairs. I don't know why I was there. Then an African-American woman came to the house and was helping me, but I had a place for the night. Protective custody, I won't admit to it. Let's make a deal. Beneath me, she had help. They won't believe it. Okay, so for whatever reason, I was like in a sorority. It was almost like in the Midwest, but it wasn't. It was out east. This guy came down the stairs, and he had long, wavy hair. And so for whatever reason, it was like this African-American woman, she came to see me. And, I said, well, I have a place for the night. And I don't know why I would be there. So, it could have been a hostel, or it could have been some of the universities years ago used to rent out like the students' place, the students' rooms when they're gone, or just whatever, because I remember staying at one of them, and nobody was there. It was just me. And it says, okay, protective custody. I won't admit to it. She had help. Okay, that's kind of what I've been hearing. I didn't have help. And that's kind of what I'm going through now. I should read to you all this stuff that I have been hearing and seeing. And no, I'm not schizophrenic. No, I'm not paranoid. And yes, I'm anxious. But that's why I call it the book that writes itself. And some of the stuff did come true. I don't know if some of it did. I don't know about the other stuff. So anyway, okay, so I think that I'm just going to stop it. I'm in February. Okay, I think I should just try to do this February real quick, which I don't know if I can do it. The name Lisa replaced. Okay, now this is very important. So some really bizarre shit has been going on. This is 2025 in real life that are dreams, but based on one dream in December 2024. First, I think it was mid-January when a friend of mine was telling me about a new resident in a nursing home that she is at for rehabilitation. And she told me, she goes, oh, there's this, she looks a lot like me. Her name is Lisa, and I'm not going to say the last name. It was an Irish surname, okay? She goes, whenever I see her face, she thinks of me. Similar image glasses. So what I think happened is a former medical professional may or may not have wanted me to go to a place like this after a medical procedure. Okay, so I was not, I think it was me and this other girl, and I left, like the medical facility, but she was there, and and they might have asked me, oh, well, to get, better medical to be in that city closer, right? But there's no way I would agree to that. Because a lot of people, well, my friend was there for like 4 or 5 months, okay? And so some of those people there are long-timers. And so I wouldn't really agree to that, but that was really bizarre. Okay. So I'm quite, and I wouldn't agree to that. Second, okay, then my current housing situation, there is someone here with the same name, Lisa. The one that on February, the another woman, the one blonde, probably in her 40s, same name, beginning with L, moved into building. Okay, so there's a girl named Lisa here that we both moved in on the same date. And the manager here chose her. One has to stay, the other one has to go. And her name is Lisa. And then there was a woman that moved in, and her name was Lisa. So that was like, Lisa was everywhere. I would see it on the TV. Oh, this one, somebody who's Lisa, 2 years. I mean, it was just really bizarre. Okay, traveling overseas. I think this is going to be the last one. I had this really cool dream that I took most of my money and traveled to these foreign places for a day or two, like short notice. The countries were all close to each other. Most of the women were of dark skin, not Mexican, but possibly African. So this was kind of interesting. I went to somewhere in Africa, but I went to, like, it was a short trip. I would say maybe 2 or 3 days, but I was like ping-ponging, like, to different places in Africa, and there were women there, but I think a woman was helping me. And it was kind of strange because I didn't spend that much time there, but, So anyway, I think that's going to be it because it's kind of, I would like to do maybe, let's see here. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. I'll do February, continue with February at the next one.